This week on Previews World Weekly, John Wick vs. the World, Wildcats, Spawn, and Robert Pattinson. He's here. He doesn't like what you're saying about him. Check it out. It's Previews World Weekly, and it's happening right now. What's up, Previews World? It's Wednesday. It's New Comic Book Day, which means it's time for Previews World Weekly. And I lied, Robert Pattinson's not here. I'm one of your hosts, Troy Jeffrey Allen.
And I'm Thea, and we're here every week to remind you guys to stop at a comic shop and get involved in what's happening in the world of comics.
And you know what I like about you, Thea?
What's that?
Oh man, yeah, you were actually serious about that. So a few weeks ago, I want to say, they were like teasing the Batman casting, and you always go for the altruistic option. You're always kind of like, I hope they do well, no matter who it is.
Yeah, I have high hopes.
You have high hopes, right?
I guess I don't have high hopes,
right,
honestly.
You're just kind of like in the middle.
I'm pretty neutral.
Right, yeah, which is fair.
I'll take what they give me, I suppose.
Right, but I say that
Unless
because...
it's something that really riles me up.
Right, of course, right. Like what was like last week we talked about the Sonic trailer. You were all in for that. You were both feet in on that one. But who would you prefer to play Batman?
I have no idea.
You have no idea?
No idea.
Okay,
I don't see anything wrong with Robert Pattinson.
Okay, now see,
it's fine with me.
I think it's weird. You can always kind of tell people's general understanding of a particular actor, or just certain types of things, based on just the reaction to things. Like he's done other stuff besides Twilight.
Yeah.
For those of you who don't know, there's a rumor, and it's just a rumor, that Robert Pattinson might play Batman, which is a rumor that's been floating around for a while. And I guess it finally kind of caught momentum this past weekend, and people are up in arms about it.
Nobody likes it.
Well, I'm sure some people like it.
The people that don't like it, we sure are hearing from them.
Right, they're very loud, which is kind of normal, right?
Works, yeah.
But I think it's fine. I don't see. I've seen probably half of Twilight.
We had Ben Affleck.
I liked Ben Affleck.
But that was such a surprise.
It was,
that's
true,
what I'm saying. I was really skeptical.
Right. Yeah.
I was skeptical about Affleck, and Batfleck is great.
It's fine. And then Michael Keaton got the same thing. As a matter of fact, I think there was an image I threw at you and Johnny. Actually, if Johnny can throw it up, that'd be cool. It's of an ad for a petition to get Michael Keaton off of Batman. And this is back in the 80s.
Oh, man.
So it's history's repeating itself with this Robert Pattinson thing. We were just talking last week about the Game of Thrones thing. And look, fans have a say, and that's cool. But, you also have to trust people who know what they're doing.
Let the art be the art.
Let the art be the art. And also, have you ever watched the Planet of the Apes movies?
Yeah.
Right. I think they're really good.
Me too.
And it's the director, Matt Reeves. And that's... Having seen those movies, and the level of skill involved in those films, I kind of have to give them a little bit.
It's in good hands.
Give them a grain of salt. Let them go. So I don't know. I just thought that was interesting to kind of start off with, more outrage about stuff that's.
Nobody's surprised that the nerds still don't know what they want.
Well, some do. Some just want to go for the ride. To be fair, but like I said, it's always the loudest ones that kind of ruin it for other people. So let's wait and see. But it's time for comics. We can't talk about movies all the time. This is the comic book show. So Anna Mee is here, and she's going to show us some of the titles that are available this week, and then when we come back, we'll talk about some of them. Check it out.
Hey Previews World! Every week we give you the rundown of some of the books hitting the shelves for the first time. Here's what's at comic shops for the week of May 22nd, 2019. For more info on these titles and others, head on over to PREVIEWSworld.com/new releases.
Thanks, Mia. And of course, that's just a little bit of what's out this week. If you want to see the full rundown, head on over to PREVIEWSworld.com/new releases to see what all we've got. What are you looking at?
Shocker, spoiler alert. Not a surprise to anybody. Silencer. Like number 17's out this week. I just want people to read this book because I don't want to be alone, right? Yeah. I heard at one point in time it was going to get canceled, and I think a lot of the books that were part of this line of New Age of Heroes have gotten the axe at this point, and Silencer's still going. So you guys are out there. Somebody's paying attention to this book, and I just want to make sure that people keep paying attention to it because it's just a nice, fun, ongoing series. Like it's just like it's a warm blanket. You see it you pick it up every month. You're like, okay, cool, they did that again. They're doing this week. That's cool. Basically it's Talia al Ghul's Top Assassin. It takes place in and around the Batman universe, and Batman has made one appearance in the series, but you don't need Batman in this book because the Silencer herself, who is Talia's top assassin, is actually pretty cool on her own. So there you go. Yeah. What are you looking forward to?
The What If series.
Nice.
So we've got What If Spider-Girl this week, which is pretty cool. And so the premise of this is in the future, the grown Normie Osborn becomes Green Goblin.
Oh, okay.
And May Parker, who is Peter Parker's daughter, has to take up the mantle of Spider-Man and stop him.
That's cool.
So,
That was the Spider-Girl series was kind of a long-running thing. This is like before Spider-Gwen, but not really that far removed. Maybe about 5 or 6 years prior, and they went this whole direction with it that people loved.
Yeah.
So definitely check that out. That's cool that they're bringing that particular part of the mythos back. Also out this week, this is something I didn't know existed, and I think it's kind of cool. It's a book called Matador, and it's by Devin Grayson, who's been kind of elusive for the last couple of years. She hasn't been in a lot of stuff, and she's starting to make a small comeback. She wrote one of my favorite Batman stories back in the day.
Cool.
And this is about a serial killer named the Matador. It takes place in, I believe it's either Cuba or Florida. Maybe it takes place in both. But it's about this female cop, and she's on the trail of him. And I'm a sucker for detective stories, crime stories and stuff like that. It's also Brian Stelfreeze. So this is a combination, a creative combination that I'm really surprised I've never heard of this book before. Because it's collecting issues 1 through 6. I don't know when it came out, but I feel like it's a guaranteed thing. So definitely check out Matador. It's from Image Comics.
Cool.
What else are you looking forward to?
We got the Elvira Mistress of the Dark Spring Special.
Okay, nice.
Which it looks really fun. So she's just sort of hanging out. She's hostessing some horror film festivals at the local drive-in, and she discovers an opportunity to get in with the great horror movie producer George Rotmero, which I think is pretty good.
Love play on words.
Those little puns in there. And she's, charming him and trying to get in, and she ends up starring in some of his films. And it turns out that they have the most realistic zombies that she's ever seen.
Oh, okay. Interesting. Wonder what that leads to.
Yeah,
that one shot. That's actually a pretty cool one. I like that.
Absolutely. I love Elvira. She's always kitschy, campy, fun horror.
Yeah. So. Cool. Also out this week, War of the Realms, Land of Giants. This is a War of the Realms tie-in. Of course, it's Marvel's big event, and this is a particularly interesting one because it's kind of like a pocket team. It's got some heavy hitters on there. It's got Luke Cage and Captain America, and they're going on a little side mission. So if you're following that series, or even if you're just kind of I don't know about War of the Realms, but you want to find out what it's about, this is a good one to jump on too. What else is out this week?
We got Neon Future #3.
Nice, yeah.
So this is a whole cool futuristic thing going on here, and there are all these crazy characters going on. I don't really know much about it.
Yeah,
honestly,
it's fairly
but
new.
It looks it's only the 3rd issue, right? So yes, fairly new. But it's from Steve Aoki and Jim Kruger. So.
Yeah, that's a good combination. I got actually, so at the Las Vegas, we had the Diamond Retailer Las Vegas Summit. We have some prizes we're going to give away in a second. But some nice prizes, right? Because they have seen them already. But I got to interview Steve Aoki, and I got to interview Tom Bilyeu, who are also part of the creative process behind the story. And also, I didn't get to interview Jim Kruger, but Kruger did stuff like Earth X. So this is just a really fun, interesting book. And when I had
a great creative team.
A great creative team, right? And nice artwork too, really sharp art.
It looks cool.
But it's going into this whole transhumanism thing, and the concept of man and machine merging together, and apparently that's something that has been on Aoki's mind for a long time. And truthfully, it's him looking into the future and kind of seeing how far we can push things as humans. So
I like that.
Yeah. So keep an eye out for that interview. That's a fun one. Also, in comic shops this week.
Yes.
the Batman White Knight hardcover and the Mr. Miracle hardcover, which are both retailer exclusive. So you can't get these versions anywhere else.
Yep.
And they also have bonus content that you also can't get anywhere else. So definitely check that out. And also, shameless plug for myself, I got to interview Sean Gordon Murphy, and particularly I did a piece with him where he kind of gave us a breakdown of the artwork inside Batman White Knight.
Cool.
So definitely check that out. That's on PREVIEWSworld.com. So now it's time for news. Thea's here, and she's going to go ahead and give us a rundown of everything that's been going on, and a lot of really big stuff this week. Everything that's been going on this week in the world of comics. Check this out.
Jonathan Hickman revealed an exclusive first look and a look forward at his highly anticipated upcoming series, House of X and Powers of X. Beginning this July through September, all the current X titles will come to an end, as Hickman reshapes the mutant world forever, starting with House of X and Powers of X. Fans of the current series will see that the X universe has been dovetailing to this new era, which will build from every major X-Men milestone since 1963, up through all of today's fan-favorite X-Men series. Comicbook.com also debuted the next set of covers for House of X and Powers of X, issues number 2 and 3, along with never-before-seen pages from each issue number 1. Each series will be released on an alternate weekly schedule, starting with House of X, followed by Powers of X. Fans will be able to follow along each week this summer and witness history unfold.
Yeah. I want to flip this table right now. Like, just how amped I am. Like I saw the
Hulk smash.
Yeah, like
in
it was just like just like what is it? Will Ferrell from Old School. I'm just gonna run down the street. Like I've I saw the press release for this. I saw the artwork coming in. The art looks so good.
It does.
Like it looks so good.
So exciting.
And like on top of that, it just looks weird and kooky and just like everything you kind of need an X-Men book to be.
I like it.
And I'm like, I was sending the link to my friends who I knew were going to love it, and like they were just equally excited.
Look at this!
Yeah. So, yeah, it's a good time to be an X-Men reader, I
That's
think.
very true. Very true. This August, Warren Ellis unites with artist Ramon Villalobos for an action-packed new era of Wildcats. Following his genre-breaking work reintroducing beloved superheroes from the Wildstorm universe, Ellis and Villalobos will take the Covert team on a new adventure in a 6-issue miniseries. Wildcats from Ellis and Villalobos will build on Ellis and John Davis Hunt's 24-issue series, The Wild Storm, which kicked off in 2016. The Black Ops team, featuring Grifter, Savant, John Colt, and Adriana Tereshkova, have discovered that the secret space program Skywatch has been performing medical experiments on abducted innocents for decades. And now, one of those experiments is about to explode, revealing a new threat and level of danger that no one could have prepared for. The series will channel the same breakneck energy and imagination, creating a thrilling new story for fans of the Wildstorm universe. Wildcats number 1 is available August 28th.
Yeah. No, again, let's go streaking.
Let's go streaking.
Like I'm just
No, but
like I'm just
it
all
looks
for
like
it.
a lot of fun.
It looks like a lot of fun.
Absolutely. I love the premise. I love these characters. Like it's definitely
Yeah.
cool. Next up, Todd McFarlane's Spawn character sets the stage for a historic celebration as it breaks the record for the longest-running creator-owned comic in the world. To mark this momentous occasion, McFarlane has gathered a team of superstars from the comic industry to contribute to this giant-sized 72-page book. The big news for Spawn number 300 is that award-winning artist Greg Capullo returns to illustrate. Capullo first brought his talents to Image Comics' longest-running title with issue number 16, leading to a visually stunning run as the book's featured artist, culminating in the Hallmark 100th issue. And, for the first time since 1995, Todd McFarlane, one of the top-selling artists in comic book history, will return to pencil and ink interior artwork of the character he created during his high school days. The superstar creative team doesn't end with Capullo and McFarlane. Current Spawn artist Jason Sean Alexander, fan favorite J. Scott Campbell, rising star Jerome Opeña, and best-selling writer Scott Snyder all bring their talents aboard to help usher in Spawn's next grand evolution. Spawn number 300, a 72-page full-color comic book celebrating 27 years and counting of the hit independent series, will be in stores August 29th.
Yeah, that's another one. I got to interview him in Las Vegas too.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm hopefully, I'm hoping we can do something more than an interview, more of a retrospective in time for issue 300. Because
cool.
yeah, I just think that he's a really interesting guy, and one of the images that we floated on screen is of him doing the talk at the retailer summit, and he just energized the room. That's just how Todd McFarlane is.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yay.
really fun interview, and hopefully we'll get a chance to do something cool with it in the future.
And Spawn is always a good time.
Spawn's always a good time.
Always a good time.
Always a good time. Always beautiful artwork on those books. Yeah.
For sure. Marvel has revealed the covers to their epic summer event, Absolute Carnage. After returning Venom's world upside down a year ago, Donny Cates and Ryan Stegman are about to put the sinister symbiote through hell again. Only this time, Carnage has come calling, and everyone who's ever worn a symbiote is dead in his sights. Absolute Carnage #1 and Absolute Carnage #2 will be available to pre-order in the June Previews catalog, and the first issue arrives in comic shops this August.
Mm-hmm. And we got some more artwork actually that floated in this week,
Yeah.
like late this week, or early this week. I guess it's still early. It's still early.
Sure,
late.
yeah.
Yeah. So there's some more bonus, additional cover art from different artists and stuff like that. You should check out us on PREVIEWSworld.com.
Just getting more looks at the goods they're putting out for this.
Yeah,
Right.
and also you probably, if you had a chance, there was a preview during Free Comic Book Day. So
Yeah.
just more reasons to pick up this title.
Very true. And finally, DC's Black Label is proud to present the definitive origin of Superman, as rendered by the legendary comics creators Frank Miller and John Romita Jr. From the burning world of Krypton to the bucolic fields of Kansas, the first chapter of Superman Year One tracks Clark Kent's youth in Kansas as he comes to terms with his strange powers and struggles to find his place in our world. Catch Superman Year One, #1, on June 19th.
I like the pregnant pause. #1.
Number one.
#1. And you had to say so many random names, and that was the thing that tripped you up.
I know, right?
It's all good, not a problem. And actually, speaking of Superman Year One, we're going to do a little prize pack in a second, but you got to get through the toy segment. But stay tuned because it's a massive bundle. And on top of that, yes, Superman Year One is part of that, but I'm not going to say what it is just yet. Speaking of toys. Natasha's here, and she's going to show us what's available at your local comic shop, and then afterwards we'll give you a chance to win. Check it out.
Hey Previews World! Here's this week's rundown of some of the toys, statues, and collectibles hitting store shelves for the very first time. Let's take a look inside the previous toy chest for the week of May 22nd, 2019. Be sure to check with your local comic shop for availability. And to see more, head over to PREVIEWSworld.com/talkingtoys to see our new show, Talking Toys. There you'll feast your eyes on more hot new collectibles.
So the one thing that caught my eye immediately is that blade from Mezco. I want that.
I love Blade.
And I probably don't need any more action figures at my desk, but that blade from Mezco is actually pretty cool.
That's really cool.
What else? Was there anything that caught your eye?
The Blade too, honestly, Of that collection of things, that was the one that I was like,
ooh, yeah, right. It's a lot of Bat Family stuff too.
A lot of Bat Family.
Poison Ivy, Batgirl, and Batwoman. It's like a sizable chunk of the family tree.
Bats.
So what we got this week?
So we have some exclusives from the Retailer Summit, which happened this weekend,
yeah.
right?
Look at that.
And that's where you were, right?
That's where I was.
So we have these
Straight out of Vegas.
this cool canvas bag, which has another bag. But wait, there's more!
All right.
And it's full of all sorts of comic exclusives and a couple of little bits and pieces and stuff, right? Some little accessories.
And a cool 2000 AD bag, which I love, him
Yeah.
threatening the guy to pick up his pull list.
It's really good. It's a good bag.
Right,
I'm
right.
pleased about
So how
the
can
bag.
they win? Because Johnny will put up a screen grab, but it shows you everything. It's a lot of stuff.
Yeah, this thing is packed full of goodies.
Right, and
for sure.
And there were some Hellboy enamel pins featured in there, and these aren't enamel pins, but there are Hellboy
There's
pins
some
in there as
there's
well.
some cool Hellboy stuff.
Yeah.
Absolutely, which of course is my favorite.
Of course.
So if you guys want to win this prize pack of all sorts of goodies, let us know what your favorite thing about your local comic shop is. And hit us up on Facebook or YouTube and let us know. And we'll take entries until next week's show, and we'll pick one of you guys to win this goodie bag.
Right. And one of the things I mentioned earlier, the Superman Year One, but there's a reprint of original art by Lee Bermejo for Batman Damned, and also from John Romita Jr. for Superman Year One, included in this bundle. So, like,
It's not actually in this bundle because it's huge.
right, yeah. We didn't want to put it in here because it would get destroyed.
Yeah, that's how you ruin
But
things.
the visual aspect of
Here
it
we
is
go.
actually
Johnny's
okay.
bringing
Here
up,
we go. Cool.
bringing over the goods.
Yeah, actually, yeah. We should totally show this because
That's
this looks
true.
so cool.
So yeah,
Yeah.
like
Straight from DC, straight from Las Vegas' Retailer Summit.
super cool.
And yeah, John Romita, Lee Bermejo, both
So you
part
get
of the
to win
DC
those
Black
too.
Label line. So yeah, definitely check those out. And now what?
So now we have, of course, last week's winner. And this was for the DST Rogue action figure. And our winner is Dan Gary, who said, "My favorite X-Men story would have to be God Loves, Man Kills. For me, it was the first story arc that made me step out of the fantasy of comics and think about the real world around me and how we as humans treat each other. It was a pretty big whoa moment for a kid."
No, I love that. And I remember it was like a few weeks ago we were talking about realism versus escapism.
Yeah?
And I think that's a nice example of like how the escapism can influence realism.
Yep.
Like, you know, like I think that's like, or like the reality that you're in.
Absolutely.
Like they expose you to like a new idea that maybe, especially as a kid, you never thought of before.
Right,
So
exactly. Very
I
cool.
love that. Absolutely love that. So now it's time for trailers. This week we have IDW's Kanto, and when we come back we'll talk about it a little bit, and then we'll move on to Social Swamp. Check it out. And that was Kanto from IDW, coming out June 26th. Definitely keep an eye out for it. Like, it's a cool like fantasy adventure type of thing that they're doing.
Yeah.
It's got a unique idea of like this unique concept behind of like a world with no concept of love. And then like it needs one hero to bring everything back. So definitely pick that up. But now it's time for Social Swamp.
Yes.
John Wick came out last weekend, and actually it was the first. We were talking about this last week, like what movie was going to topple Avengers Endgame, and it turned out to be John Wick. It turned out to be the third movie. So, because of that, in memory and in honor of John Wick, we'd asked you guys, who should he fight in the world of comics? Turns out the Avengers were one of them, and he won. But like, check this out. We're going to do a little Social Swamp thing. Here we go.
So yeah, we asked you guys out there, John Wick versus ... question mark? We got some good answers out of you guys. Chase Merriman said, best assassin in comic book history, and threw up a good photo here of the Beard Hunter, who I didn't know existed.
Yeah, it's from
And
Doom Patrol.
He is a hilarious looking character. That's all I know. Next, Andrew Hall said Deathstroke. Stephen R. Bierce said Golgo 13.
That's a cool one. I didn't think about that, but yeah, that's a great one.
I
versus
don't know
John
who
Wick.
that is.
It's a manga character, manga anime character. Like, yeah, he's basically manga anime John Wick.
Interesting. The Punisher HQ said, The Punisher. Surprising nobody.
Nope.
John Wick, as a former assassin, would lead the Punisher into tracking him and putting him down.
Nice.
Fair enough. And last we have Eric Clarkson. John Wick versus Black Widow would be pretty cool.
I think that would be cool,
That
actually.
would be pretty cool.
That'd be really interesting.
Yeah.
There was definitely a lot of Punisher, definitely a lot of Deathstroke. One guy in particular, there wasn't enough room to add him on the list, but like you could tell he had like already written the story in his head. Like he was like he wanted them to fight, and then John Wick to put roses at Frank Castle's wife's tombstone.
My goodness.
Like he had sorted it all out.
The whole thing, like basically the screenplay or whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, you're not wrong. I'm down with that.
Solid.
It's funny because I know that Dynamite is currently putting out a John Wick comic book, and they also have the Hitman comic book.
That's true.
So I'm kind of like, come on, guys.
That's a good one.
Right? Yeah, right?
I like that.
Like, yeah,
That's a
Hitman,
good
John
combo.
Wick. Why not? Do a little crossover,
Yeah.
make us see them kill each other. It'll be fun. So keep them coming. Like, of course, the social swap is over, but like at the same time, like we're always curious about what you guys think.
Yeah.
Like we love the fan casting, we love the speculation. So who else should John Wick fight? Doesn't matter how ridiculous it is. Keep throwing them at us.
Absolutely.
So that's almost it for us this week.
That's true.
So let's take care of business as usual. Comic shop shout out.
Absolutely. Comic shop shout out, guys. So if you want to have your local comic shop shown on our show, let us know what they are. Use the hashtag #SupportYourLCS. Catch us on social media wherever you can find us, and we can pick one of you guys to feature. And this week, we're leaving you guys with Comic Logic Books and Artwork in Northern Virginia, sent in by Meanwhile ATP. And yeah, so we're going to show you some photos, and there you go.
Cool. All right. I do want to say a special thank you to all the retailers we met this past week.
Absolutely.
In Las Vegas, because they were very complimentary about the show. They were very supportive of the show, and this is why we do it. We do it so people can go to your shop. So thank you very much.
Thanks.
And on that note, I'm Troy Jeffrey Allen.
And I'm Thea, and we'll see you at the spinner rack.
Thanks for watching Previews World Weekly. If you like the show, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any future episodes.